Good morning from the secret tent site. Got to see some elk around here. Got some on film. Looked like 3 cows and 2 juveniles right around sunset. So here's a clip of what I captured. They were pretty skittish, and as soon as I poked my head around the grove of trees, they ran off pretty quick, but I managed to capture them. But they never came back last night, and it was nice and quiet, all alone down here. So we'll get back up to the trail and keep on going for today. Back on trail. I definitely picked the best campsite in that area. When I got back to the junction, to the PCT, there was 20 tents set up in that area. It definitely would have been a little crowded if I had stayed up here. Washington gets forest fires too. Lots of forest fire damage on all the ridges out there. Overall, it's been a lovely walk this morning, but we have had to do a bit of a water carry. From camp to the first water source is about 8 miles or so, I think. Mount Rainier there in the background. It's a cool color contrast between the white snow of the mountain and the green trees in the foreground. More burned out hills. A lot of air traffic you can hear flying overhead. We're getting right underneath the approach path for everybody going into Seattle. There's some fat chipmunks out here, because that guy's pretty big. Here's our water source, fresh culvert water. Back on trail after a nice little water break. From here, the next stop is going to be the Urich cabin. Should be a little stream or something down there. I guess the cabin is kind of built by volunteers and maintained by a snowmobiling group or something like that in the area. Kind of use it as a wintering / summer cabin. It's nice to finally be out of the burn areas for a little bit. Seems like a bunch of this section's been burned out, so I don't know how long this nice forest will last. Terrain is still really nice. And I was also just thinking that this is the fewest number of hikers I've seen on trail since, I don't know, a week before coming into Cascade Locks as hikers were getting bunched up going into there. I've seen 2 people, and that's it. It's really nice when you stop alongside the trail, you take a sit-down break for 15 minutes and nobody comes by. I just love the feeling of being all alone out here. It's just like, it's just me in the woods. I just love that feeling. Less than a mile now to the Urich cabin. Definitely gonna take a break there. Should be water. Probably a couple other hikers will be stopped there for a break as well. But I'll try to get some shots of the cabin itself and see what that looks like. It's supposed to be like a winter safe haven cabin, so I think it has like a wood-burning stove on the inside too. So it should be a nice little setup. But beautiful forests we're walking through. This definitely looks like some Washington forest areas. Just beautiful. I'm noticing more and more mosquitoes out, but they're not aggressive. Not really landing on you as long as you keep moving. But when I stop at the cabin, it'll probably be worse with mosquitoes, so we'll see when we get there. Made it to the cabin. Mike Urich, dedicated to the memory of 1888-1957. Really cool looking building. Oh, there's like a wasp's nest right up on the top corner. I don't know if you guys can see that. Kind of right up in the shade there. Tenting around. And a picture perfect, beautiful meadow area. There's a little bit on the inside. I'm imagining anything left here is going to be picked clean. Yeah, it feels awfully light. I can't get it open. But yeah, there's a nice wooden stove, wood burning. It's a really cool feel to it. Upper loft. Like a really nice AT style shelter. That was the perfect place for a lunch break. I think I was there for almost an hour. So right now it's like 12:15 or so. And let's see, next stop is going to be a water source in about 4.5 miles. And total left for the day is only 8.5 miles. I feel like I've said it a few times already, but I love how every mile of forest is completely different than every other mile of forest. It just keeps changing. It'll be kind of sad as we get further and further north now. The majestic peaks of a lot of these mountains we've been passing, we'll no longer be able to see them, but some final shots of Mount Rainier as it gets further and further south of us. Terrain is still easy and cruisy. It's been a good hiking day. Not much excitement has really happened. I'm not running into any elk or deer on trail or anything. Not a lot of hikers around. It's just like this. It's calm and quiet. I'm about a mile or so to the water source, and that's going to be the last water source for the day. After that, it's about a 12-mile water carry. So we'll be dry camping tonight. I think from the water to where I intend on camping is about 4 miles or so. Another burned out area. And tons of berry bushes. There's a Forest Service road just up the top of the hill there. And I've noticed a lot of people from the local area, I guess, are all out here picking berries and filling up buckets. There's a notice board up here about the burn area, the Falls Creek Burn, summer of 1988. Sign was put up as an Eagle Scout project. There's one of the first good looks into the future, up to the north. The rocky peaks of the North Cascades. I'm not sure exactly where the trail goes in comparison to those mountains, but that looks pretty impressive from here. I made it to the last water source of the day. I'm filling up here. So many perfect hiking days. Absolutely love it out here. But we are loaded up, super heavy on water. Less than 4 miles to camp. Looks like we got one steep, mile-long uphill, and then shortly thereafter, we'll be looking for a place to camp. I'm at a dirt road crossing with a little bit of a better overlook view out to the north at all these awesome, jagged peaks. It's all coming up to the north of us. There's my spot. Just nice tucked away under the trees. Spot for one. Just right off trail. The trail's just 20 feet that way. I think this will be it for me. I don't think I ever showed you guys yet, but here's my little patchwork for the holes that were chewed in. I just put some duct tape. I put a square on the top and then a square on the inside of the bottom, and then as it adheres to itself on both sides. I think that'll work, and so far it's been holding. since I threw that on there. I just was lazy and didn't patch up the last hole. I think that's going to be it for today. I got my dinner cooked up. I got some mashed potatoes and tuna. That was always really good. We got good food, good campsite. It's been a great day of hiking. Weather's still been awesome. No clouds, no rain in the forecast. I'm just enjoying every moment while I still can on trail. Probably got somewhere like 2 weeks left or so till we get to the end of this thing. Yeah, I'm just loving it out here still. Body's feeling great. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Good morning. Slept in a little bit. Getting on trail a little bit later than usual. I think it's already like 6:30. That's not too bad. It's not too late or anything. Nice and quiet. Had some critter visitors just after sunset. I don't know whether it was an elk or a deer. Elk seemed to be a little more skittish, so maybe it was a deer that was kind of roaming around the tent. And warm last night too. It's warm right now, maybe like 68, 70 degrees. Last couple nights it's been closer in the 40s. I know this probably looks flat, but we're trucking uphill for about 1.5 miles or so. And then the last 6 miles all downhill to the water source. I think we're just about at the top. And I wish you guys could smell what I smell, because all these little plants on the side of the trail, these are all huckleberries. It's like the whole state is huckleberries and blueberries. And you don't even have to eat the berries, you can just smell extremely intense huckleberry smells. Oh, it smells awesome out here. You got the jagged peaks to the north. Fantastic. Overlook to the east, the beautiful valley. Beautiful morning. The way the light's coming through the trees right now, just gorgeous. I didn't want to say anything at that massive tent in case somebody was sleeping in it, but that thing was huge. I don't know what the deal is with that. And the way it was anchored in made it look more like a permanent structure than somebody out for a weekend. You'd have to have a car to haul it up here, and there was no car parked in that area next to it, so I don't know what the deal is with that tent. Somebody's temporary structure for doing something up here. This has been a long downhill, but I think we're almost to the first water source of the day. Here's our water source. Beautiful little stream. I'm gonna fill up here, take a break. Next water in about 7 miles. Back on trail, loaded up with water. I think the terrain profile for today has us doing a lot of ups and downs, but I don't think the uphills are going to be too lengthy. Nothing more than 1 mile or 2 maybe, but some of them look a little steep. And these little exposed sections, it's going to be a hot one today. Could be near 100 degrees for the high. Feels like it's already past 90. The ups and downs haven't been too steep, but it's just enough to be enough of a workout. But they are not too bad in distance-wise. Mile up, mile down, that kind of thing. And I'm just chugging right along. Some views of Mount Rainier. It's 95 degrees. There's officially too much uphill. It's just going to be an exhausting kind of day. words that best describe today are ups, downs, it's hot, and huckleberries. I just finished up a nice little break at the water spring. There was a whole bunch of hikers there, so I didn't want to pull the camera out and it's just too crowded. But from here we only got like 6.5 miles to camp. Ups and downs continue. And we're walking through masses of huckleberries. Huckleberries everywhere. I was just thinking there's more berries of various variety just within like the last day on trail than the entire length of the AT. Sometimes you just have to stop and eat the huckleberries. The trail's opened up to an area where we're crossing some power lines. The breeze is nice and cool. Walking in the shade in the forest is not so bad temperature-wise, but it's definitely hot when you're exposed. Most of the day has been in the shade and the trees though, so that's been pretty nice. Coming up on a road crossing at Stampede Pass. I think I'm gonna have a sit-down break here. And we're about 2 miles to camp. Here's right on the side of the trail. This is an ant hill. It's massive. The thing's like 2 feet tall. There's a million ants going everywhere. I have not seen anything quite like this. That's super cool. We got a mile of very steep uphill, and then a mile of downhill. That's it. Made it to camp. I'm gonna take this little spot right here in the trees. There's one other spot that's kind of shaded over there, and then there's a couple in more of an open area out that way, spaced apart decently enough. I think some other people would end up here because we're near a water source. I just filled up 0.1 back before coming here, so I'm gonna get set up in my little space real quick. Well, I'm all settled in. Got my last mashed potato dinner cooked up, so I'll have that here in a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and just do an early sign off in this clip. I think it's gonna be pretty crowded here tonight. There's a couple people that have already settled in and they've gone back to the water source to fill up. So I think there's gonna be a whole tramily group kind of piled in around here. So before it gets too rowdy, I'll just go ahead and sign off. So tomorrow we're getting into Snoqualmie Pass. We only got like 16 miles left. And getting into town. So we'll see all that tomorrow. Thanks for watching. We'll see y'all in the next one.